say something.
A couple things. Um, there was in at least one meeting, maybe a couple of meetings, people talked about citizenship as to what that means. Sometimes we think citizenship and it's like, oh, I pledge of allegiance to the flag, or citizenship in Utah or United States. And these certainly apply to that, but aren't that. And so I'm thinking, why even use
The word.
the word citizenship? And then I start thinking, well, why even? This is just an idea.
Yeah, that's what this is
I'm
for.
exploring. Or the same thing with character. Why don't we just take character out and citizenship out, and then just say be, and then have inward and outward. So we don't have to, those who get caught on the word citizenship, which some people might, we don't have that anymore. I don't know, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking. I also like kind. Thank you for putting it.
I can talk a little bit, David, to why I put those back in there. If you go back and look at all the compiled data from the 500 pieces of input, plus we heard this over and over at schools, was the two words citizenship and character are very familiar. It's a vocabulary that's common. And many people said, where did those go, if that makes sense? And so I think, you know, under dispositions, originally in the original, those things get to that, but they were wondering about the vocabulary and that common vocabulary. So that was part of it. That's why
I think it's that familiar.
yeah, and
Familiar.
that's why I put it back in here as a topic for discussion.
And can someone speak to, so there's 10 there as opposed to 3 and 4. Tell me why that's too much? Just thoughts on that? I heard several people say it was, but I don't know why.
For me, it feels too much simply because it just is more things to measure and more things to pay attention to. If these are things that we really think comprise genuine learning, and I think they do, then it behooves us to then ask our next question, to ask ourselves, then how do we assess and measure these things so that we know whether or not we are accomplishing our vision? And so having 10 under the dispositions just from a sheer number seems like there is a lot. And I don't know that all of them need to be there. But I don't feel strongly, but that's my initial thinking.
You want to finish? I think there's the potential to combine some of these. I also want to point out that under know and do, everything is noun, critical thinking, literacy, and suddenly in the B, we've turned to descriptive, confident instead of confidence, resilient instead of resilience.
But you don't be confident. You be.
Yeah, I think it's because it is an adjective, because being is a state of being, and so adjectives would be there. It makes sense to me.
Okay. Anyway, I see confident and self-directed being kind of in the same vein.
And responsible.
Yeah.
Responsible. There's two. Yeah. Those are three things very similar. Persistence and resilience.
There's some overlap there
Some
as well.
overlap there.
Yep.
I think curious is also part of self-direction, but
And we've got curious up in the vision statement itself with in a culture of exceptional care, curiosity, and community.
I think curiosity is a self-directed kind of quality. I think we could combine those.
Yeah.
Adaptable, I don't know what that's referring to.
I think that's resilience, in my opinion, but.
Yeah, I think we could.
Well, as a citizen, though, how are you adaptable? Does that mean adaptable to inclusive, almost like adaptable to being friendly to everyone? I don't know what does the yeah.
If it is, then I agree with Ada. I don't think that's
not the right
really
word.
quite the right word.
Adaptable meaning willing. Yeah, I don't know that I like adaptable.
I'm all for using words that everybody agrees on the meaning of. So,
Well, I'm being a jerk, but but hopefully a kind jerk. But I think an empathetic jerk. How about that? It- but but I think for all, I mean, all of these words could mean something different. That's just simply my point. Is that we might give different meanings to several of them, and so I don't know that we want to place as our criteria that we have to be 100% in agreement about what they all mean. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm open to being in agreement.
So I'm going to speak to that a little bit. So up above, we have the genuine learning, and we're saying people don't understand genuine learning the way we want them to, so we defined genuine learning. We don't want to do that with every word in this whole document and say, well, by empathetic, we mean it would be meaningless by the time we finish, and we wouldn't be done for years.
I agree.
So just make sure we're agreeing on generally each word.
Yeah.
One of the other main sources of feedback talked about, I mean, most common themes throughout was it does need to be concise, right? At least as far as how it's going to look on, you know, a one-page sheet of paper or whatever. I think there's an opportunity to have a second document that can clarify some of those things, because it does matter if we're going to use a term that we're talking about the same thing. So just a thought there, but
While we're talking about possibly reducing this amount on the B column, I think now would be time to put out there that there are 2 additional words that did not make it onto the revised and the revisions here, but that were pretty consistent, I think, in the feedback that we were receiving, and those words were safety and belonging. And so I want to put out there for our consideration as well, and I think now might be an appropriate time to just be asking ourselves, is there a place for those 2 specific terms?
I think,
Safety and belonging.
I think those are both culture terms, so we could add it to the culture of exceptional
Care.
belonging, safety, because that is something that should be, that's not something we're
given.
striving
Yeah.
for. That is something that should be the culture of that's not something that
That's a
we're
value.
working towards getting our students to. That should be the culture of
That's
each
what we
school
provide,
that
is
we are
safety.
providing.
Like a value? Like a value?
It could be a value, or it could be actually up in the culture of, and my memory and is up there in the vision where I think we used, for me, this is how I was making sense, exceptional care. Care was how we were addressing safety, and community was how we were addressing belonging. That's my memory. That's how I made sense
Yeah.
of it for myself. And so I wasn't concerned that safety and belonging weren't specifically in there. But as feedback, the lack of those 2 words explicitly being there, I think consistently came up. And so maybe, anyway, so I'm just putting that out on the table. I think safety and belonging are there
I
in
think
those words.
I think it would be easy to say in value number 1, we value student and educator well-being and safety.
Yeah.
If we want to emphasize
Yeah,
that.
and well-being is safe as well, right? I mean, so
It's the same
if we
thing.
wanted to put that
Yeah.
in there, we could add it down there. It's an idea.
I second that.
You like that idea? Well-being and safety?
How about safety and well-being, so it's alphabetical?
That's what I was wondering. It sounds better that way, doesn't it? Why does it sound better? But it does. Well-being and safety sounds off.
Safety is a starting point, well-being
Is bigger.
expanding.
I agree with that.
Let's switch it.
Okay.
not
I
because
think-
it's alphabetical.
I think Ada's explanation, that captures it for me. I think that's what it is. What about
Is there a
belonging?
place we can put belonging that makes sense?
I think it's up. On that I agree with Jen. For me, that's a culture thing. That's a thing that we are responsible for. And yes, it can be a disposition that, of course, we're trying to promote. But I would put it up in the culture if we're going to put it somewhere.
So say it, what would it be?
Well, it'd be belonging, care, curiosity if we're going alphabetical, David.
Well, as you said, in the vision, I think it's articulated in community. If we want to re-emphasize it, we need to come down to the values.
So you're saying that it's already assumed in care and community, the belonging, sense of belonging is, but then we can delineate it or set it apart
In a value
by
statement.
saying it in a value. That's what you're saying, Ada? Okay.
I'm trying to see where it would fit.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It almost fits on 4. We value individual agency and community responsibility. So individual agency is I'm acting, but I'm acting not only for me, but I'm acting for community, and somehow belonging belongs there, could go there
Yeah.
In
somehow.
a culture of belonging or something like that. Like because individual,
We value individual agency and community responsibility in a
Are those
culture of
two-
belonging.
Are those two related? Individual agency, community responsibility. Can we?
Are they related?
I think
I
that
think they're
they
related.
are. There's other ones that I think aren't, but that
Uh-huh.
one I think are. I think one is
I think they need
to
be.
me, and the way I'm
Okay.
going to act is with the community in mind.
That's the for me. That's the intent of those.
wait, so we took out, that's where we took out moral, huh?
Yeah, we did take out moral.
Okay.
Is highlighted to
So if we're down in the values. So we changed them slightly. Student, and before we had student and teacher, and we changed teacher to educator to be inclusive. And we dropped moral, individual moral agency, and just put individual agency.
You have the agency to hit somebody, but you have a community responsibility to restrain yourself.
That's exactly right.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, I won't hit anymore.
Okay.
How about we value individual agency coupled with community responsibility? Just somehow, I don't.
Yeah. So it ties them
Tied,
together more
yeah.
explicitly.
One implies so that people know what we mean
And B, it's A in B.
within. Yeah.
Would it capture it to say individual agency for community responsibility? Or
No, because there's more. For me, that doesn't yet fully capture it because there's more to individual agency than just the community responsibility.
So Sterling, is "and" the right word for you?
For me,
or
"and"
is there
is.
another word that would
It places them.
work and "for" and put them together?
Coupled with.
Coupled with?
Tied to.
I think for me this acknowledges the duality and the inherent tension that exists between, because it's in the same, and that's why an "and" is there. You've got an individual and you've got a community,
How about this
and
one?
we've got both of those
We
that are
value
in play.
individual agency belonging to community responsibility. That way we get the belonging and the.
Good try. We're good on time. I think we're good. I'm okay on time. So,
Do we want to add with the belonging, what was,
in a culture of
in a
belonging.
culture of belonging, yes.
So that would, to me, that refers back up to our vision statement, and I don't know that we need that redundancy.
Okay.
For me,
Is this the belonging that was pointed out repeatedly by our junior high students?
it is.
This is it.
This is it.
Was it belonging or was it empathy? Or was it both?
My memory is that they used the word belonging more frequently, but I think it was my understanding of their use of that term was that it was this idea of inclusivity of.
Can you speak to that, Joe? Because you mentioned, Dr. Jensen, excuse me, I'm sorry. Can you speak to the junior high feeling like that we missed a word in belonging or inclusivity?
Empathy, kindness, belonging. I think they talked about all three of those things, kind of in the same vein. Sorry.
How can we involve belonging in a way that would value or honor their consistent recognition that we missed that word or that idea?
Could,
Well, I think if we keep empathetic, kind under B,
what if we
I
said
th- I
kind?
think that
What if we said kind and inclusive?
I have issues with that.
Kind and what?
Inclusive? No, I just have an issue with kind, as I've said multiple times. There are lots of ways kindness is misused in today's society, in my opinion. For example, I've used this example before. A lot of people think it's very kind if a child is going berserk with a water bottle and hitting people to make the rest of the kindergartners in the class move out of the way and go until they can de-escalate that child as a kindness to the child. But other people think that's very unkind for the other children and the teacher to do that, and not teaching, it's unkind to not teach that child self-control. So I think in education especially, kindness is looked at differently. A lot of people think it was kind to not encourage as much as needed in my school in Salt Lake kids to speak English sooner. And so in a kind way, they actually hurt the children, which some other people think is unkind, by not getting as much out of them as quickly. So I do have an issue with the word kind in our, not that I have an issue with the word kind itself. I have a shirt that says raise kind humans. I figure my kids are pretty kind individuals. Ask anybody. They are very kind to people. However, in an educational format, I do have an issue with the word.
I move that we strike the word kind.
And I'm totally fine with striking it, because I think empathetic, for me, empathetic captures, and I don't know that we have the same issues with that. Yeah.
Empathetic's okay.
So,
Okay.
so I have no
Is
problem.
that a
with-
word that a first grader is going to know, though?
No.
Empathetic.
This isn't for first graders.
That's when we talked about having a younger version and an older version.
And you know what? And this is my thinking, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but this is ours. We own this. The schools are going to take this, and they're going to adapt it to their grade levels and to their school. So Orem Juniors might look different than Lake Ridge's, which I hope looks different than Bonneville's and Mountain View's. And then a classroom's going to take it and going to adapt it to the classroom. So we don't need this to go to a classroom and make sense to a first grader or a 12th grader, in my opinion.
Point taken.
So does empathetic cover the belonging? Is it strong
I
enough?
don't think so. For me, empathetic doesn't cover belonging completely.
Does inclusion cover belonging?
I don't think so.
Belonging is a better word than inclusion.
Me too.
Inclusion has too many educational connotations that are good, but when you say inclusion to me, it means we're taking special ed, we're putting them in a school, and then we're going to include them into the classes. But that doesn't mean belonging in the way that we're talking belonging, in my mind.
So belonging, is this something a student even has a choice in, feeling belonging? Or is it up to us to
I
create?
think, like I said, it's a culture.
So it's
I
a
think it's
culture.
a culture that we need to set an expectation
Okay.
for our schools, that all of our schools, we want them to be places of belonging for each student.
How about we value collaboration, accountability, and a sense of belonging?
So where are you at?
Number
Value
three.
number 3.
Number 3. We value collaboration.
Someone needs to explain why collaboration and accountability are together to me, because I don't get that. So when you put belonging in, now we got 3 things that
Yeah.
don't belong to each other.
Oh, I see. I see.
I
Oh,
get it. I get it.
It's like 3 different values.
Isn't collaboration having to do with, with the PLC model that we're going to collaborate and then be accountable for I don't know.
Yeah, for me, collaboration and accountability come into play. That the relationship I see is I am collaborating. We value that collaboration right here, right? And coupled with that collaboration, I still have a sense of I am still
Individual
I still have accountability for whatever I do, right?
Okay.
It's not I can't push that off and just simply say, oh well,
Sure,
the
I
group.
understand.
Yes.
So if that's how you feel, then we need to put individual accountability to make it so that that's clear, because that was not clear to me. I put a little mark by it saying, I don't get how these are related.
Right, my concern about just putting individual is that I'm coming back to a comment that Ada had made earlier about being accountability. There's different ways that there's accountability at an individual level, there's accountability at a school level, there's accountability at a district level, and at a board level. I mean, so there's different levels of accountability, and so when we start putting adjectives as modifiers onto these words, to me, it limits how we can interpret and make and apply these values. So I'm
Okay,
very
I
comfortable
get
with
that.
them being.
Thank you, but I still don't. yeah, When you say collaboration and individual accountability, if we said that, then I would say, oh, that makes sense to me. We're collaborating, and I have individual accountability not to be a jerk and not to be dishonest or not to be whatever. But when I take off that individual, then it's accountability. I don't. So we're going to collaborate, and then we're going to be accountable individually, collectively, at every.
At every level.
And how are those?
Why are they together?
Yeah.
I think that's really what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
So do we want to say we value collaboration and accountability at every level? Including the student?
So at every level, all of a sudden means, oh, yeah, at my level, at my team's level, at the school level, at the board level. So that would make more sense to me. That would allow me to tie them together a little bit better, I believe.
At all levels,
At all levels.
or maybe at each level.
Each.
We've gone to each
not
and
every,
every.
and not
There
all.
we go again.
Okay, Joe had something, and I'm going to bring it up because I love it.
Okay.
Together, we cultivate joyful, thriving students through high levels of genuine learning and belonging for each student in a culture of exceptional care, curiosity, and community. It's just adding and belonging to the culture, right? It's more of our vision, genuine learning and belonging for each student.
Read it again, please.
Together, we cultivate joyful, thriving students through high levels of genuine learning and belonging for each student in a culture of exceptional care, curiosity, and community.
I think I can live with that.
High levels of belonging?
No. High levels of genuine learning and belonging
And belonging.
for each student. And belonging for each student. So it's a culture, we want to create a culture where each student belongs in our district. All students.
Isn't belonging an after effect of something actually we can do? Because we can't automatically make somebody feel like they belong, but we can have a culture that is conducive to that.
For me, that's why it's culture of care,
Well-
curiosity, and community fosters belonging.
And I'm
Right, but also saying it sets an expectation that that's what we want our schools
And
doing.
that's how they're going to thrive, right? That's what we're saying here is they are going to thrive through learning and belonging.
Right. And I think by doing that, you're saying we're going to be intentional about both those things, because while sometimes we look at belonging as just a byproduct, I would say genuine learning could also be but if we're intentional about those two things, then we're a lot more likely to accomplish them.
So do we?
And I think you can teach kids how to help other kids feel belonging.
Yeah,
So is that-
I mean, part of it's through these
Yes,
things down here, right? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
Do we want to say coupled with?
No,
Are you teasing?
she is.
So my only worry, and maybe it's not a concern, so help me realize that it's not a concern. I read a study, I don't know if you remember that this happened back in the 80s. There was a study that that came out and said that kids with good grades have good self-esteem. And so the schools got into this self-esteem craze where we wanted every child to have good self-esteem so that then they would get good grades.
Yeah, they were thinking of a causal relationship.
Yes. And so what did we do? We told every child that they were good even when they weren't. We gave every child a trophy. We got all these.
All the ribbons.
I mean, that's
It's kind of in our culture now, but actually we created some issues in behaviors because, and it didn't have a cause and effect. And
But belonging-
accountability. When you
I don't think belonging
so
is
are we going to
attached
do
to.
things that will make kids feel like they belong in a school, but will affect how much we expect of them to achieve?
I don't think
And
so.
so I'm not putting you on the spot here, but how many joyful, thriving students do you know that have high levels of genuine learning without belonging?
The word is
Not very many.
also connection.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's implied. And we want our students to be coming to school. And if they don't feel like they belong, they're not going to come. And then we have no impact. I think attendance, I think that's one of those things that's going to get kids there. If they feel like they belong somewhere, they're going to make an effort to come to school. I've seen that there's some students who, because a certain teacher makes them feel like they matter, that makes them feel that they are important and seen, they come just for that. And if they don't come because they don't feel that, then everything else we're doing is a waste. Honestly, everything we are doing here, if students are not at the desks, is worthless. So I think anything that we can do that's going to foster the desire for a student to be in school is within reason is going to be good.
Do we have time to hear from the peanut gallery on this?
Would you like to hear from the peanut gallery,
I'd like to
David?
hear from Dr.
Is there
Kim
a specific
Jones.
member of
Dr.
the
Kim Jones.
Kim Jones, you're being requested. On a specific issue, David, or do you want her feeling on the whole thing?
Anything from the whole thing, but really on this belonging, on this.
As our
vision
social,
statement.
oh, we have an extra.
Director of Wellbeing.
She's our director of well-being.
She's our
No, assistant superintendent of
Student and staff wellness.
student staff wellness. Okay, Kim, you have the floor.
I love this discussion. It makes me so happy listening to all of the thoughts that you're sharing. I love that you're wanting to ensure that belonging is part of this because, like you were saying, that was really important to the students. And to me, it fits so beautifully the value number 7, where who do we want to have a sense of belonging in Timpanogos? Students and educators and parents and community members. And what kinds of those people? Ones that have different perspectives and experiences. And that all of those are valued and have belonging in our district. So I think it fits beautifully in that space. And I see it also in the vision statement that you're talking about. Do you have other, David, were there certain specific things that you wanted to?
I think it's in spades in 7, I agree.
Do you think it would be important to have belonging spelled out? Because it's not on this document at all. We feel like, well, Sterling is saying it's implied, but do you feel that it's something that needs to be more than just implied?
I think having it explicitly written helps all the students that gave feedback to feel that they were seen. And it's a great word with a lot of research around it also at this time. I have one other little thing I'm just wondering about. I love the list of things you have for character and citizenship. One of the things that I would say, Dr. Jean Clinton is a child psychiatrist, and one of her statements is that the number 1 predictor of learning that would be in this list is actually self-regulation. And this is the one character aspect I would say that is the hardest for teachers to help their students with, and that does have an impact on the students themselves and also their classmates around them. And I think self-directed sort of hints to that, but it's maybe more than that, something to consider, this idea of self-awareness, that we're helping our students to really understand what are the emotions that I'm feeling and experiencing inside, and then how do I manage those in safe and healthy ways that will help me to learn. And that's something that we anticipate spending a lot of our time working toward.
Kim, can I ask you a quick question? Does self-awareness precede self-regulation?
I would say yes.
So if we were to say self-regulation, that would imply then that self-awareness is a precursor to self-regulation. Is that true?
That's what I would say. So
Okay.
we currently use the term self-mastery, but self-regulation absolutely would fit that same type of idea.
Do you have a specific spot where the belonging would be best spelled out?
Can we say in number 7, we value creating a sense of belonging.
Coupled with perspectives and
I love the coupled, love the coupled. I think it could work in a couple of ways where you're saying we value the perspectives and experiences of students, educators, parents, and community members in a culture of belonging. But I also love it up in the vision statement where Jen placed it. I think it works beautifully there as well. Levels of genuine learning and belonging for each student. That's just
One consideration, one reason I like putting it with learning is,
meaning up in the
There's-
vision statement.
yes,
Yes.
is that there's some great work that's been done by a couple guys named Cobb and Crownapple. Their book is Belonging Through a Culture of Dignity. And he talks about the Maslow's hierarchy, that it's basic physiological needs, safety, belonging, then learning.
Safety
And-
and belonging together, or safety and then
Safety.
belonging?
Then
Safety,
belonging.
then belonging, then learning. And he talks about how so often we talk about a learning gap, and he says so often it's actually a belonging gap, and that we can't get to learning if you don't feel belonging. And when you think back to most kids who are not learning, in so many of those cases, it's because they're really not belonging. And if they had belonging, then learning would be much more readily achieved.
More of an option.
So you like it up there because of that?
And I
Is-
do think it's part of culture.
Could we say then, go ahead, Jen.
I was just going to ask if there's anybody else in the peanut gallery that's chomping at the bit to say their piece. If not, it's fine. I just didn't want you guys to leave here feeling, I wish I had said.
What if we said, together we cultivate joyful, thriving students through high levels of genuine learning for each student in a culture of belonging, exceptional care, curiosity, and community. Would that give it the proper emphasis? Because we have said it's part of culture.
How would it be?
In a culture of belonging, exceptional care, curiosity, and community.
I think I like the CCC.
So do I.
And putting a B there makes it BCCC.
Is there,
That's so silly.
is there a word that starts with an A that we could use? And then it could be
No,
ABC.
Connection is the C word. So.
One thing from the peanut gallery, if you don't mind.
And I want to go on the record, you are not the peanut. You are highly valued professionals
Oh,
with
Yeah.
significant,
Wait, is peanut
perspective
gallery
and
bad
input.
because I love peanuts? I thought it was a compliment. Yeah. It hit me when Kim was talking about self-regulation, self-mastery. It is a lot of the work that we do in schools, a lot of the conversations that I've had one-on-one with students. It was in that book, Kids These Days, where she said, if there's one thing you can accomplish here is your ability to regulate your emotions. I love the idea of self-mastery or regulation, even over self-directed. So I think mastery covers directed, regulation, awareness, and I really like that part. And I also like the discussions you guys are having. I'm looking at this second draft and it's exciting.
Well, I'm going. Go ahead, David.
I don't get how self-mastery and self-directed are close enough that one supersedes, that mastery means we don't need directed. To me, they're very different. It's like, same thing with persistent and resilient. Yeah, they sound alike, but they're not the same. They're not close to the same.
They're similar. There's overlap, but they're
So
not the same.
So self-mastery, self-directed, you think there's enough overlap. They're not the same, but there's enough overlap.
I think there's enough overlap.
Can you speak to why there's overlap in your mind?
Self-mastery and what?
And self-directed.
I could say in my mind.
Okay, go ahead, please.
In my mind, I think that if you haven't mastered your emotions and other things, you can't direct yourself in what you want to be. It's kind of part of it. It becomes
Part of it or a precursor?
I think a part of it, because it's kids that have self-mastery, they become self-directed as they do things. For instance, at least I have a daughter who wants to play the viola, right? And so she has the desire, but until she has the self-mastery to actually make herself practice, and that includes the self-direction to actually make the practice, then and between the two of them, she then becomes good at the viola. That's just me.
I'm worried that self-regulated is kind of a professional term. Is
Yes.
that true?
I think we'd have to do more explaining with the term self-regulated than we would with self-mastery. I think self-mastery has greater accessibility generally than self-regulated.
You'd have to say self-mastered. Unless you change all of these tonight.
That is touche. Yes.
Just
But-
a little bit of background on why that term made the second,
Which term?
or the self-directed, made this version, is one of the biggest, well, a common theme from teachers especially was student behavior, student discipline. What do we have, how do we help students, one, be masters of themselves, but also, how do we,
So would self-mastery accomplish that?
To me, it does.
what term do you think is best, Kim?
I like self-mastery because it gets to the idea that there's a real emotion piece.
I can't hear you.
I know, sorry. Go back on. I think self-mastery incorporates the piece of emotion. That is one of the biggest aspects of what we're talking about here, more than maybe self-directed makes me think, I have a task and I can kind of self-direct myself to do a task. And what we're talking about is a lot larger in the sense that we need to have our students be able to understand their emotions, and then you're managing them in a way that, again, you can direct yourself to do different tasks, but you can also manage yourself to have healthy relationships and communication with other people in creating that safe sense of belonging and culture at the school.
I like what you've just said, because to me it suggests that self-mastery allows me to be self-directed, but it also allows me to do other things as well. And so in that way, self-directed is just one of the outcomes of self-mastery.
And then just a little side note with resilient and persistent. We've been looking at it from resilient, and that there would be subsets of that. That part of being resilient is persistent in a task. But we need more than just students who are persistent and can keep pushing toward a goal. We also need there to be resilience. Part of that resilience is an emotional bounce back, in a sense that if someone hurts my feelings, I can be resilient and bounce back from that. I don't need to take that in and let it ruin the rest of my whole day, or things along those lines. So in a sense, that kind of incorporates both pieces.
Subset of the other, okay.
Yeah, because sometimes persistence is not a virtue. When you have a,
But I think
Child.
resilience is.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we have to make some decisions. Okay? So we do. But yeah, we've got some other things to talk
Wait, we didn't talk about the values, the order, and
No,
the-
not
okay.
yet, but I'm
Okay,
gonna
let's
get there.
to it.
I just think I know I'm running out of time. That's why I'm wresting control. Okay. Okay, we've got to decide about belonging. I think we're in here's what I hear. I hear that we're in agreement that we want to include that word, that there's value in it, in recognizing and acknowledging that the students gave us some pretty significant feedback in that regard. The question that we have is, where do we place it? I see that we've got 3 options for placing it. I suggest we choose one of the 3 places. One could be down in the value statement, number 7, in a culture of belonging at the end. That's one option. Another place that we could put it is in the vision statement, where it is, together we cultivate joyful, thriving students through high levels of genuine learning and belonging for each student in a culture of exceptional care, curiosity, and community. So we place it there as a mechanism by which we accomplish the joyful and thriving students. The third place is still in the vision, but rather than putting it as a mechanism, we put it as in the culture, where we say, together we cultivate joyful, thriving students through high levels of genuine learning for each student in a culture of belonging, exceptional care, curiosity, and community. Those are the 3 options that we've considered, I think, that rise to the top. I think we need to make a decision. So,
I like genuine learning and belonging. That's mine.
I second.
I prefer, and I will go with whatever the majority says on this because I don't care that much. But I prefer it in the value statement, but the only reason is because I feel like our vision statement is already long enough.
That's a point. That is a good point.
David, where would you place it?
I want to wait to see everybody else.
Oh my goodness, of course you do. I'll ask
put
you
it-
last.
High levels of genuine learning and belonging is what I would put it.
So you're good with Jen and Michelle.
Yes.
Okay, Guy, where would you place it?
That's where I'd put it.
You'd put it as well. Ada?
I guess the word person in me prefers it after culture of, right there. But I'm happy to go along with after genuine learning as well.
Okay.
We don't really vote. We're just,
We don't. Yeah, we're just.
We haven't heard yours, Charlie.
he's already written it. I see it on his paper.
Yeah, I like it up with as a mechanism for accomplishing joy and thriving. So I like it, genuine learning and belonging. It puts it as an outcome. For me, that prioritizes that in a powerful way. So I like it there.
That wasn't even on your list.
Dr. Jensen,
He's the one that told me.
you've already, is that,
Joe,
was that,
are you?
you sticking with
Kind of
it?
his idea still.
No, I agree with Sterling that, the beginning of the statement is, this is our desired outcome through, I think it fits there with genuine learning and belonging as the mechanism.
Are we okay with putting it there? Okay, that's where we're going to keep it. Okay, we've got to decide on the B column. We've got 10 items there. Are we comfortable in keeping 10?
11.
We have it-
Self-mastery.
Well, that we've added, I mean, that would
Supplant.
implant. Are we comfortable with replacing self-mastery, self-directed with self-mastery?
Self-mastered.
That's all right. We'll come back to that one, I promise. Okay?
Self-mastered.
Okay. So then the question is, does anyone want to strike any of the others?
Adaptable.
Adaptable is on the table. Any pushback on striking adaptable?
From
It's,
staff, any thoughts on that adaptable if we were to?
It's resilient. Same thing.
yeah, adaptable's gone. Okay. Any other suggestions that we strike something?
Is honest a citizenship characteristic or personal characteristic? I'll
But
leave
to me,
it wherever you want it, but
Integrity to me would
Both.
be the inward. Honesty would be the outward, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not.
So did we replace integrity with honesty? Didn't we
No.
have integrity? We
We've
didn't
got
have integrity.
integrity down here in value,
Okay.
in the value statement. Honest is
Okay.
up there in citizenship.
honest, respectful, responsible.
What would the outcry be if I suggested we don't have honest on there?
Like it's a given.
To me, it's a given. I agree with you. I don't
I'm going to absolutely disagree that in today's world, honesty is a given.
really.
With AI,
Look at any of the
that's,
news
you know,
anywhere, local, statewide, federal. Honesty is not a given anymore.
Okay. I can hear that.
Okay.
Authentic?
I can.
No, I'm just.
I vote we strike.
Honesty.
I vote we strike curious.
Because curious is up
Yeah.
above.
That's what I was. Yep. Can we strike curious?
So then that gives us 4 and 4.
Can we strike persistent?
No.
No. Oh, I want to strike persistent.
Not, David.
I think resilient. I'll keep resilient and strike persistence.
That's what I would do.
I don't think we need persistence.
I want to ask staff that question.
She already articulated
Kim
it
did.
very well.
But anybody else?
I'd like Dave Mauer's thoughts on that.
He stepped out
He
for a
stepped
moment.
out.
He didn't want to be part of this conversation.
Get asked.
Anyone else?
And Guy
Kim's got
Fugel,
the-
you have said very few words here.
No, if the question is if we strike persistent, that's a bad thing.
Persistence is a subset of resilience. That's what was said.
It is. Okay. Is there major pushback from striking persistent other
David's
than
giving
David?
David heartburn.
I know, but one of us can have heartburn and the rest of us can move on.
Okay, so
I want to hear David's why. Can you explain your why and maybe?
Jen is so much better at this than me. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just exploring
Sure,
that I've never really expressed this. I taught math for 10 years about. And in addition to seeing it, I also read about it that if given a hard problem in Japan or in what's the other? No, there's another Singapore. Thank you, Singapore or other countries. The kids would stick to that problem for 10, 15 minutes persistently. Even if it wasn't solvable, they would stick to it. In America and in my classroom, if I gave them a hard problem, kids would stick with it for around 15 to 20 seconds. So persistent, to me, says they're going to go back at it, go back. They're going to really try to solve it instead of just ask one question, give up, and say I don't care. So that's the persistent. What's that, Peter? I don't think it's resilient.
I
It's
don't disagree with that.
persistent.
I've seen those
I see
studies.
that.
However, the problem is not in promoting persistence. It's in promoting that they're capable of understanding and engaging. So you,
Yeah,
so
but
you
how-
get
okay,
persistence.
and we're not disagreeing.
Right,
okay?
I agree. So,
But
so for
you get
me,
persistence by learning to understand it and engage in it. But if you're not persistent, you're never going to get that. You're just going to give up and walk away. Bell rings, you go to the next class.
I think I disagree with that. I think they won't. I think persistence will happen as they come to understand.
I'd like Guy's opinion on this based on his being an employer for the last several years, many, many years. Any thoughts that you have?
On persistence.
persistence.
Versus resilience.
It's, I don't know, I just haven't.
Is persistence something that is lacking and that we should focus on for products, the product of the students that we are hopefully turning out? Is that something that's seen in industry that is missing?
Well, yeah, it's missing because it's not thought of in this generation, the new generations, okay? Which is, I'm from the old school here, and it just blows me away with some of these, really? That's what you think about this? So anyway, so I don't know how we get that back in being persistent.
I am comfortable in keeping it for now. Let's do.
I'd like to.
Let's keep it for now.
Thank you, guys.
That gives us 4 under character: confident, resilient, persistent, self-mastery. I agree. It can't. I agree with you. It's got to be something there, right? Then we've struck kind. We have empathetic, responsible, respectful, and honest.
4 and 4?
So we've got 4 and 4.
We've eliminated 2.
2, 1 in each.
Yes!
Are we comfortable keeping character and citizenship, the words, as the header with the inward and the outward as?
Clarity and understanding that there are 2 kinds.
Is that okay? Yeah. Of being, there's this inward and outward?
I think it also provides a bridge between what
What we know, that
and then
familiarity is
gives
a
more
benefit.
into what we're looking for.
Okay.
Based on what, I mean, if you're trying to address my feelings were addressed when I asked the question to Joe. So.
Okay. All right. Are we are we fine with the other changes that have been made in the value statement? Fine with changing teacher to educator? Fine with dropping moral and just having agency? We're adding safety up there. We're comfortable with that. And the reason why students, educators, parents, and community members are highlighted there is just because the order, I believe, changed.
Can someone speak?
We put students in front of.
Yeah, that's where they belong. Yep.
Yeah.
Can you speak to number 5 and help me understand why integrity and transparency are related and put together? Oh, good. Yeah. Teacher to educator as well. Yep.
I've been doing it a lot. Does anyone see a connection? I mean, I see connections between integrity and transparency.
Accountability is kind of more closely related in my opinion.
You see it?
What, the connection between integrity
Yes.
and
Transparency.
transparency? Yeah.
Yeah, help me.
Help you understand?
And this is the second one of these that I've felt like, oh, okay, I don't get it. The first one was number 3, and we talked through that. How do we make it so people get it? Because I'm not bright, but I'm well educated, but sometimes I don't get things.
Well, for me, and it may not be this way for everybody, but the integrity comes with the transparency, because a lot of times government can say they're transparent, but you can skew the data a little bit to make it look how you want it to look, and it's still, but it's not truly integrity and honest. Okay, maybe I should say better yet. My husband used to have a plaque on his wall going into his accounting office of honesty is more than just to tell the truth, it's to convey the true impression. So integrity is in conveying not just being transparent, but actually conveying the true overall impression with our transparency. So for me, they go together.
I can be, there is something about inward and outward. So integrity for me is very inward facing, right? And it's how then I'm going to interact individually and approach things with this intent to do so with integrity and honesty and accuracy and all of that. Transparency is outward facing of, and I'm going to be transparent in the way that I interact with those around me. I'm not going to keep a hidden agenda. I'm not going to hold information back that would benefit. I'm not going to, for me, transparency works against any hidden agenda on any level, whether it's at an individual level or a teacher or a parent or a board or whatever. So I see those as, I see the connection there.
Sterling, I hear you saying transparency requires integrity.
Well, I can be transparent, but I could be dishonest. And so I am hiding something.
Well, I think that's what our young people are thinking. I need to be transparent, so I just lie. That's just the norm. I'll just make up something, and then I'm being transparent.
And so integrity,
So where does that?
integrity counters that. That's why tying integrity with transparency, it's like, well, if I'm going to be transparent, I can't do so. I can't be transparent and lie if I'm also going to have integrity and transparency. So I've got both of those that are in play, that are informing how I interface with the people around me.
Thank you, that helps.
And to that point, I think I am comfortable that these statements have multiple interpretations. I think there's depth. I feel like we've got the right set of values, or at least we're working on the right set of values, if there's some depth to them. And if I can look at them and interpret them and say, this is what this means to me, and it's going to inform my actions in this way. And that may be different to some extent from how Jen interprets and informs it, because she is seeing something different in that particular word than I am. I'm totally comfortable with that. So I don't...
It also leaves autonomy to the schools.
Exactly. I think that comes back to something that
focus
David
on,
said earlier.
Yeah, to focus on what a framework, so it can be a little more vague, and they can then apply.
So I asked a friend.
Could it be AI?
Yes.
And what did your friend say?
Integrity and transparency are the twin pillars of trust.
Wow.
Integrity is the internal moral compass that ensures your actions align with your principles even when no one is watching. Transparency is the external practice of making your processes, decisions, and motives clearly visible to others.
AI for the
I
win.
think that's what I said. Isn't that what I said?
I withdraw my question. It is in different words.
In different words, yeah, but that's what I said.
We didn't say the word trust in here.
No.
Well, there's honest.
We have the pillars of it.
Yes,
right
we
here.
do.
That's
We've
right.
created the pillars.
Twin pillars of trust coupled with.
And for me, I don't need trust, because we are generating We are creating trust through this.
And I just
Anyway.
want to point out that accountability to me on this board is, one aspect of that is financial accountability to our taxpayers.
Yes.
Talk about seeing things on different levels.
Right.
That's a big deal
And
to me.
and it is to me, and that's why I don't want us to put a modifier with accountability, because I want it to have the opportunity to apply in multiple different
Encompass
ways,
everything,
right? To
yeah.
encompass it's accountability in a financial setting, it's accountability in an academic setting, it's accountability in a personal setting. I mean, we value accountability.
So we could say the same thing with transparency. Financially, we need to be transparent
That is
with
correct.
it, and that's the good thing about leaving it a little bit,
It's
a little
not
bit,
vague.
a little bit, have optionality within it to be able to say, hey, this applies in many ways.
That's what
Can I say something else about something that you've put in orange instead of yellow?
of course.
I like the idea of putting it bullets instead of numbers, because numbers always to me means most important, least important, and I don't know that I'm ready to do that.
Thank you. That was my next question and last. Not maybe my last. Whew, this is taking longer than I thought. You guys are harder to work with than I realized. I'm just kidding. I missed the last meeting, so I wasn't part of the conversation. It's my fault. I will own that. Okay, so my question is, it was suggested to whether or not we wanted to order them in terms of priority. I kind of do not want to do that. Not kind of. I do not want to do that, but you guys may want to, and if you are, we can. Or we can just bullet them.
Bullet.
I agree with bullet, because then it gives the schools autonomy to be able to focus
Prioritize.
They don't have to look at it and go, oh, the district wants us to focus on one.
That's right. Okay. So, any opposition to that? Okay. There's. Yeah.
Should we, is,
Just the motto. Is that okay? Is that okay? I think the other one.
We can do more. We can do another 15 minutes.
It's a living document.
We can do another 15 minutes at our next meeting.
Okay, great. So the last one is, we just want to say, and maybe this is homework. This could be homework for us to be thinking, is we felt like it would be beneficial, and there was some good feedback that is there a motto? We want to come up with a brief motto. A motto by definition is brief. That captures all of this right here.
So the opposite of what we've been doing.
Yes. So that could be our homework assignment, to be thinking about, okay, with this draft then, is there a phrase that that captures, in an important way, the essence of what we have right here, or the most important aspect, or whatever, what a motto does. Okay, there's your homework.
I have one suggestion that Sterling share with you his suggestion, because he didn't want to put it at the top, but I felt like it captured this quite well, and it might, anyway. But he wanted to make sure it also, that there's other possibilities. I'm only gonna,
Say it.
only if
say it.
Sterling's willing.
Sure, I'm willing to say it. I like the motto, we learn to thrive.
It's a double meaning.
Or we learn to thrive.
How's that
We learn
Okay,
to
okay.
thrive.
Together we thrive.
As we learn, so it's
We learn so that we will
learn
thrive
so we can
later.
thrive, and that also
Or we learn how to thrive.
Got it.
Both
Okay.
of those. Yeah.
It sounds like an educator wrote that.
Oh, well, I am an educator.
Own it.
I'm just going to put out there.
So is
Timpanogos
this something we're
teamwork.
going to just vote on, or do you really want us to do homework?
I think we do homework.
Can
Do
I
it.
give the homework also to our favorite friends over here in the not
staff. We're
peanut
just
gallery?
gonna call them staff now.
The staff.
Be more
If you guys
professional.
could come up with something that you like and bring it to us as well, that would be awesome.
because there's so many allergies.
I think we call them the professionals.
The staff. There are staff. Okay.
And we could shorten it to will it.
Will it?
Will it. We learn to thrive. Will it.
No, whittle.
I am done,
It'd be
Joe.
whittle.
The time is back to you, and we all have a homework assignment. I feel like we've got a draft here that we can move forward with, and I don't know if we need to, maybe at a board meeting officially, do we need to,
Is it on our board meeting to vote on it?
do we
today?
need to vote on it?
No.
No,
it
I don't
isn't-
think, no,
I-
no, no.
It isn't.
To vote
It
on
is
it?
on there?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be, so we can continue this discussion later
Okay,
at our board meeting.
thank you.
Can
There
I
we
So
go.
add
if you
one,
have homework
one
for the
more
next
thing?
45 minutes.
Can I just add one more thing? Without saying which one's most valuable and least valuable, is there ones that we could put together,
Are you under,
1 through 7,
okay.
that are going to be bulleted? I'm thinking we value student and educator well-being. So we're talking about students and educators' well-being. Now you look at 7, we value the perspectives and experiences of students, educators, parents, it's like they could go not together like one line, but like
Or they are
first bullet,
bookends.
second bullet, or bookends.
Or
But-
they're bookends
But
where they
think
are the
about,
first.
think about the order in that, how it
Are you-
rolls out
Are you assigning that as homework as well?
to Joe.
Okay. So, Joe, you have your homework.
Joe and I
We
will
have
accept that
ours.
homework.
Okay.
Because I
Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, we're
do
gonna.
know what you, yeah, I
It
do.
might be right
Yeah.
now. It might be right
Yeah.
right now. I don't know.
But just, is there, yeah.
Bookends or together or.
Okay, we are going to move on to item 2 for our study session, and I have a feeling we're going to have to postpone our board governance, or I will just do a quick thing, but we'll turn time over to Joe.
All right, we wanted to just do a boundary study update because 3 of you are on a secondary committee and 3 of you are on an elementary committee. And so just to kind of fill each other in, I just wanted to give a brief summary of what we've done so far. We formally opened a boundary, the MOABS, Mother of All Boundary Studies, and it is bigger even than we imagined. But we opened that officially in April, and then in May, study sessions, we had a presentation about elementary robust schools, and then another presentation about secondary robust schools, and towards the end of May, developed a robust school criteria, which I should have brought copies to give to you now that I'm thinking about it, but I think you've all seen that. Then we had cluster meetings with our community. We had one at each high school where we had our patrons weigh in on that draft robust school criteria. And then that was kind of finalized in early June. And then we started heading into boundary committee meetings, which you've been a part of, either in the secondary or elementary. And those were designed to help shape the focus groups that we did a couple weeks ago with our patrons. And so we did an elementary, a junior high, and a high school focus group. And then one of the things we decided last week as board leadership is there really are 2 major parts of our boundary study. And if we leave them together, I think it's going to be convoluted for our patrons. And so we've divided them out into 2 parts. We're going to look at very specifically configurations, which is the question of 9th going to 12th, 6 coming up into the middle schools, and having K-5 elementaries. That'll be one element of our boundary study. The other element of our boundary study will be consolidations. And so we want to make sure those 2 things are separated. And so tonight in our board meeting, one of the, as you've seen on the board docs, one of the things we'll be doing is officially opening a study for configuration for all the schools, all the regular schools in our district. But we did want to give just a few minutes to each of the committees to talk about what the committee work has been and kind of what we've learned in focus groups and all of that kind of thing. So I would say let's start with secondary. That's going to deal more with the issue of configuration in some ways, although it obviously affects all 3 levels. And then we'll go to the elementary group. So secondary, what would you share with your colleagues?
I think there's general consensus in our committee that around officially looking at 912, what we're taking action on today. And there's been a lot of positive benefits articulated for a 912. I think there's general consensus that we need to study the 6-8 as well. So I think there's support for officially studying those. I think it's become clear in our conversations as well at the committee level that in looking at this not even in conjunction with the reconfiguration, but that in looking at our robust school criteria, that we really, and pure feeder systems, I think that's been playing a part of it, that we don't need 5 junior highs, that we really will benefit from having 4 junior highs. And so that there's a consolidation that really needs to be studied. And I think there's been conversation, I'm comfortable in sharing this, that that 4 of the 5, there are reasons for 4 of the 5 to be considered for closure. The only one that has
And
not
to clarify, not 4 of the 5 closing, but
right,
one of those
right,
4.
but there's right. The only junior high that no one has been able to articulate a reason or a rationale for potential closure is PG Junior High. The other 4, Lake Ridge, Orem, Oak Canyon, and Canyon View, all 4 of them there are arguments, pros and cons for closing one or the other, right? So again, to be clear, not closing all 4, closing one of those 4 that that there's been conversation around. And we're not close to, I think we're still grappling with pure feeder systems, but again, I think there's general consensus that still is a high priority, something that's valued.
Feeder from where to where?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
From
Go ahead.
the feeder from the junior high to the high school.
Correct.
I mean, it's also good if you can do it from the elementary school as well, but what we've been talking about is the junior high to the high school. And for the record, David will disagree with me, but I still think the best option is, if possible, to do a true feeder system.
Anything else you want to add, Grace?
No, I think it's been really good working in with all the principals, getting their feedback, their knowledge of different things that I had never considered. And it was also great to be with the focus groups and hearing their concerns and their feedback as well. It really helped shape my opinions on many things, and I'm excited to study this a little bit further as well.
So I just concur with Grace, but I also say that it's one of the reasons why I think we're opening this study up so soon or so early, whatever, is it's become apparent between the school leadership and the teachers that were involved, as well as the public, the community that was involved when we had our little meeting, cluster meetings, that there's real appetite for looking hard at the configurations. And I would not disagree with Grace. I would say I just don't. I'm ambivalent about pure feeders. She's adamant about it, and I'm ambivalent about it. I don't think it's good or bad. I think there's benefits of both. So,
Grace, can you explain what you said at the end about pure feeders? You don't think it's possible? Is that what you were saying?
I said if it is possible.
Oh,
Yeah,
elementary.
a lot of people
Okay,
don't feel
yeah.
like it
The
could be possible in the elementary.
I get, yeah, okay. But
But
junior high, it's
it
very
would help.
feasible.
It's more
Yeah,
feasible.
it's more feasible.
And it would
Okay.
help programs a lot if
Right,
we
right,
had true
okay.
feeder systems.
All right, I kind of.
but it's still
especially
an if possible
Right.
with
If
the junior highs
possible.
to high school. If possible.
I mean, I think we're talking about programs. We're talking about like our arts programs, our sports programs, possibly just having more.
It's not as important for academics as it is ninth grade going to the, if we're taking ninth grade to the high school, that it's not as much of an academic as it is a program thing.
Got it.
That's our report.
Will you guys speak to elementary?
Okay. We had some really good discussions in our focus group and in our cluster meetings as well. But in our focus groups, especially, in secondary, there's choices that are going to be made. In elementary, choice is a little bit more limited. But I think parents enjoy and expect to have some choices for their children. Right now, we offer gifted and talented and dual language immersion. And so our conversations have been more nuanced because those programs are really, decisions made around those programs really will determine a lot of what we do. So those are ongoing. We had some further discussions today, but getting feedback has been really important in understanding the value of these choices. I think parents really want their children to be challenged, and whether it's in the GT program or the DLI program, they just want their children to have opportunities to excel, to joyfully thrive.
And to Ada's point, there were a couple of things in particular. In the robust school criteria, the number one thing is that people want meaningful opportunities that really for each child, right? Whether it's special ed or GT or DL, all of those things really matter. And so we do actually have we've scheduled another DLI specific focus group for the 27th and have invited our DLI principals to invite parents so we can learn with them.
Will you be streaming that?
Sorry, what?
Will you be streaming that?
No.
But they can
But
record
but
it
we can record it so you can hear
so
it.
that we can listen.
Okay. I have interest in that, but I'm not part of that committee. So,
And I would just, not being a member of that committee as well, I think it'd be important to have both parents from Gen Ed students and DLI students that are a part of
Yes,
that.
and that's what we're doing. Three from each school is what we've tried to ask principals to provide.
And along with the DLI, there's some different models that we want to investigate and explore and talk about with these parents and figure out what is the goal. Why are they interested? Is it the bilingual or is it the challenge? So I think those are some questions that we really want to pinpoint in the additional DLI focus group. I would just like to point to the data that Jason provided in the elementary focus group. It showed that within just a few, not even 100, I think, our 1980 enrollment in elementary school is the same as it is today. But we have 3 more elementary schools. So I thought that that was a really interesting data point that really hearkened to the fact that our levels are here, but we've got 3 more schools that we're trying to fill and support. And yeah, so that was an interesting
And maybe with
observation.
declining enrollment that might even,
It's going to continue. The data says around 1,400 by 2030.
okay.
So that helps us as we're planning for the future. 1,400 more by 2030.
The amounts are within 20, but it's about 11,300 at the elementaries, both in 1980 and this last year, and then going down to like 9,900.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd like to point out in the focus group, let you know that there was a general consensus and enthusiasm for having some gifted and talented or extension opportunities at every elementary. That was well received and across the board.
And we also received information, I don't know if it wasn't at the focus group because I wasn't there, but that Jordan School District just approved that. Their school board just approved a GT specialist for every 2 schools.
I do just want to say as a caveat that I don't think this precludes the formation of a true GT class. I think we can look at that as an option.
You're talking about a magnet
A magnet
program.
at one school for those that test exceptionally. We'd have to create that threshold. But I'm saying that I don't want to preclude that as a possibility.
No, we appreciate your work on those boards, or on those focus groups and committees. A huge thank you to our principals as well. We've got multiple principals on each of those, as well as our professional staff. And they've been very insightful. I think in the long run, we're going to make better decisions because we really are holding true to that number 7 value of we value the perspectives of all those different stakeholders.
Can I just point out the value of being able to say value number 7?
I know, see that?
Bullet number 7.
I'm just going to bring that up because I hope that we are a value-driven board, and if we're either going to have to memorize all 7, or I don't know, have a quick reference guide.
The 7th bullet. 7th bullet.
7 bullets.
The bottom right.
I do want to refer to our values frequently as we make decisions. That we need a handle on those.
Okay. Yes.
Sterling, do you want to talk to the idea that, so one of the things we will be doing in board meeting as well, as you've seen on the agenda, is adopting vision and values. Do you want to talk for just a second this idea of a living document?
Yes, I think that I think it behooves us to recognize that this document is living. We can come back and visit it, and need to revisit it. And if we feel like, as we work with it and as it guides us, if we find a gap, we can address that gap. If we find something that's superfluous, we can eliminate it. Right? I mean, I just think we're at a point though where we want to move forward and say, this is our vision and values. This is our vision. These are our values. Drop the draft, move forward, but knowing that as a living document, we can always revisit it.
And Sterling and I, when we were revising and planning for this, we also talked about one of the ways to simplify, which was a lot of the feedback as well, would be to do some visual things with this. And we both agreed with that, but rather than putting anything like that in front of us today, we wanted to work specifically on the verbiage, and then we'll work towards some of those visual graphics.
Okay, we're going to do a 3-minute quick board governance training or discussion. It surrounds process. It's been, and this is actually for me, just reminding myself, this has been the most interesting situation because it was the 7 of us started this, and at that time when we started, it was all of us. We were doing everything, and so we were doing a lot of the work, and we are transitioning now. I think my biggest aha was when I went on my cruise and I left and there were things that needed to be done. And I came back and they were done. I realized I wasn't there for it being done. And so we need to recognize that we are now in director mode, I guess, where we are going to ask our wonderful staff for them to provide us with the information that we need to make decisions. And sometimes that is going to be a bumpy road as far as they're going to have to be looking into things. As we've experienced, I think this week, they're in the middle of exploring options to bring to us. That's just something for us to remember as we're interacting with our public, to say, this hasn't been brought to the board yet, so it's not something that's even being considered until it's brought to the board. So that's process. Anybody have any comments about that?
Yeah, I think it's for you and Sterling and probably Dr. Jensen, maybe all of us, I don't know, but to call us out on that. So if we're not, and I've kind of said the same thing in different words before, but let's make sure we train each other to do that. So,
Yeah, and I would just observe that it was helpful in this weekend with the Anderson Farm and the Transportation Center, where that, again, that we haven't had conversations at a board meeting because we're still exploring, I mean, we're still gathering information, right? My point being that when I started getting emails, I really appreciated the fact that it was like, oh, we've got a policy in place that I'm not responding to these emails. We have a committee, a communications committee, and we've got a board president, and we've already established that I, as a board member, our policy is not to respond to those emails directly. We let them so that there is a unified voice in our response and in how we interact with our constituents. So that was helpful to me.
Yeah, I appreciated board's quick response and creating a unified response to that. And I don't think it precludes us being able to respond individually, but to always recognize that we default to our communications and board president.
Okay, any other discussion on that? We will dive deeper later, but we don't have time. So it is now, time is 5:35. We will adjourn from our study session and we'll reconvene at 6 o'clock here for our board meeting. 15th. We are starting now at 6:03. We will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Valen Thomas. Please stand.
Repeat after me.
Thank you. We will now have an inspirational thought by Cindy Davis.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with all of you tonight, and this is a wonderful month of July. We just had this big celebration of the 4th of July, and I was told that Ashley Belknap, one of our social studies specialists, gave a little message recently, and I'll just parlay on from that, but I won't stay on that because we also have Pioneer Day coming up, a state holiday. But I was thinking about a 4th of July when I had missed a plane in Atlanta. Yeah, I was with some other presenters. We were going to teach some youth workshops. And we happened to end up in Gettysburg on the 4th of July. And so we said, let's go and learn a little more about Gettysburg and spend some time there. And I walked up the hill up in Gettysburg, and I saw this sea. There was a flag put in every single grave for the celebration of the 4th. And the wind was blowing, and they were just all these flags, and the cemetery was blowing in a giant circle, and it changed me. And it was a defining moment in my life, and I thought about how this most bloody battle of a civil war that our 8th graders study in U.S. history, how that changed the whole trajectory of what was going to happen in our nation. And it opened doors, and it paved ways for something new and a new way of living in our country to begin, at least to start, to have a pathway to emerge and people to become pioneers to create that. Now, we also have a holiday coming up, 24th of July, state holiday here in Utah. Our 4th grade students study the Pioneer Trail in our 4th grade standards in our 4th grade classrooms. And I am leaving at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning to do kind of a recreation of this a little bit. And so wish us luck, because I think it's a heat wave, and it's going to be quite the experience. If I'm not here next month, you'll know what happened. You'll know I didn't make it back. But I think about them and these people who left everything to chart a course throughout our country to start this new life here in the West. And I just looked this up. I looked up, what does it mean to have a pioneering spirit? So, board members, I would ask you if you can relate to this, to any of the pieces of this. A pioneering spirit is a mindset characterized by a strong willingness to embrace the unknown, endure hardships, and explore new territory or uncharted fields. It drives individuals and groups to innovate, take risks, and build pathways where none previously existed. Can any of you relate to that? Raise your hand if you can relate to that. That is what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here as board members, but I would say also that's what we're doing here as parents, as teachers, as students, and I would venture to say our teachers and our students are doing this every single day in our classrooms. Because when a student goes who doesn't know anything about a new concept in algebra and starts to learn something brand new and it feels chunky and hard and they're scratching it out, they are pioneering. It is uncharted territory in his or her brain. And I am so grateful for our teachers who explore uncharted territory in their pedagogical pioneering, and they're always looking for ways to be better. So I know this whole community is expecting this pioneer spirit of our wonderful board. And I know that our wonderful board can and should expect a continued pioneering spirit from parents, students, teachers, staff, and all of us who are helping to make this new and exciting opportunity and territory happen, to keep all the good things that we have and become even better. So thanks for letting me share that thought today.
Great, thank you, Cindy, appreciate that. Okay, we now have time for public comments. I'll just read this quick little thing. Patrons who wish to address the board are asked to sign up prior to the meeting, and we have a full docket tonight. This opportunity will be reserved for patrons living within the Timpanogos School District boundary. Individuals living outside of TSD can submit written comments to the Board of Education from our website. There is time on the agenda to allow for up to 3 minutes for public comment. 10 patrons have been given the time to address the board. Speakers should introduce themselves by stating their name. The board does not engage in a discussion during the public comments, but today we are going to have a statement prepared by Vice President Hilton that will follow our public comments. Personnel issues are not appropriate discussion items for an open meeting environment, and if you have personnel concerns, we ask you to please put your concerns in writing and address it to the board. The Timpanogos School District is a legislative body, and as such, it functions under the same operational rule as other similar bodies, such as the state legislature. Public input during its formal meetings is to assist the board in ascertaining public attitudes and interests. It's not a forum for open discussion or debate between the board and patrons. Thank you. I will read the 3 names, so if we can just quickly 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go from there. So first we have, I believe, Sydney Graff, then Richard Hickman, and then Kayla Diddy. So if we'll go in that order, thank you.
Okay, my name is Sidna Graff.
Sidna, okay,
Sidna,
sorry.
yes, thank you. And I'm a resident of Anderson Farms. I'm also an educator with 20 plus years experience, so I am a big supporter of public education. I never thought I'd stand in front of a school board, though, in opposition to something, but I am opposed to the school bus depot in our neighborhood. I think it's safe to assume that for most people, the biggest asset they will ever own is their home. And it's disconcerting to think that people could make a decision that could possibly lower the value of that asset of their home, or possibly make it harder to sell. I took myself on a little field trip. I've never actually seen a bus depot, so I went down to the one in American Fork, and I thought maybe it's not that bad. It was. I know that you said that I've heard comments that there could be fences and plantings around it, but it's really hard to hide the fact that this really should be in an industrial area and not in a neighborhood, not surrounded by homes. One of my concerns, I know my neighbors will probably bring up other concerns, but one of my concerns is that I noticed huge light poles, because I understand that you'd probably want this area lit up at night. You'd want, for the safety of the buses, to discourage vandalism, that kind of thing. And the workers in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning when they're going to work and getting on those buses as it's dark, you'd want it well lit. But that light pollution is not good for a neighborhood. If you can imagine living next to a facility that is well lit like that 24/7. If you were to have near your home a 12-acre lot magically open up and be gifted to the Timpanogos School District, I can imagine that the first thing you would think is, our neighborhood needs a bus depot right here. Actually, no, I don't think you would think that, and we are not thinking that either. We are a group of neighbors who care. We're concerned about our neighborhood. We want a good neighborhood. We want good schools. And I know that you ran for school district, for school board, because you also care. You're also concerned. You also want a good school district. So hopefully our concerns will resonate with you. And I appreciate you listening. I would ask that you take this property off the docket for a bus depot and consider something else in an industrial area. This is not a facility that should be in our neighborhood or any neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Sidna. Richard.
My name is Richard Hickman. I'm also a resident of Anderson Farms, and I'm asking that the Timpanogos School District take the Anderson Boulevard parcel off the table as a bus depot site. A lot of the points that I wanted to talk about were already discussed, but mostly home values and diesel noise and stuff. The traffic one is a big concern of mine. I don't know how many of you remember what it was like living in Anderson Farms before Anderson Boulevard opened and we only had 1700 North, but with dozens of buses having to try and go in and out is going to stop up Anderson Boulevard and make it almost impossible to get out of the neighborhood. And so that's a huge concern of mine, is that traffic is already a nightmare. I can't imagine adding dozens and dozens of buses. The other thought is that we probably need another elementary school, which is why this spot was actually picked for an elementary school, because there's over 2,000 homes being built within a few miles. My own kids have to go to elementary school in a completely different city, in Orem, because there's not enough room at Linden. And for me to hear that the need is too low just doesn't resonate. That doesn't make sense to me, that there's not a need when my kids are already being bused outside of the city and there's even more houses coming. My alternative ask is, like, there's already a bus depot. There's already several bus depots. We're probably already in a position where we're renting or asking and collaborating on those current sites. We should probably continue to do so and then find an industrial site somewhere else that's cheaper. Because if we use the site right here that we have right now to build a bus depot, we're going to end up buying more expensive land later for the elementary school that we need. Let's buy cheap industrial land for the bus depot and comparatively cheap industrial land for the bus depot and put the elementary school in the middle of the neighborhood instead of this bus depot. So that's my formal ask, is to take it off for consideration. I will say I have no idea what your statement's going to be, but I've been through this before with other things, and it concerns me that you already have a statement prepared before public comment has even happened. I really hope that statement is not a, we're doing this anyway. But anyway, that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And I guess I should clarify, it's a response. It's not, because a lot of times in this, people will leave right after their public comment, and a lot of times we'll address the issue they've brought up in our board member comments, which are at the end of the meeting. So we wanted to give an opportunity for us to give some type of response, so you didn't leave here feeling like you hadn't been heard. So, okay, Kayla.
All right, good evening, board. You likely know my name, and now you know my face. So I've prepared a meeting. I'm just going to read it just because I feel like it really captures my thoughts and my feelings really well. So my name is Kayla Diddy, as has been said. I'm a resident of Linden, and my property directly borders the Anderson Boulevard parcel that is currently being considered for a future school bus depot. And I will say the word considered because I know that word has been highlighted to me, that it is a consideration right now. I want to express my appreciation to Jen Lyman specifically for her personal phone call, and to the district for the formal statement issued the other day. I was really grateful for that, and while I'm relieved to know that no final decisions are being made, I continue to be deeply concerned that a plot of land not even 5 feet from where my children play is still actively being considered as an option. While I've been told that other locations are being explored, I have also heard specific reasons why those other options are not good contenders. So if those sites were quickly disqualified or ruled out for logistical reasons, why has this residential neighborhood not received that same definitive rejection? Why is an industrial facility in the heart of a community still being treated as a viable option? I understand that you do need to consider all of the district-owned properties, but after seeing that it's in a community, it should have just been, tossed to the side and not looked at as deeply as it has been. School bus depot simply does not belong in a residential area. The health risks from concentrated diesel emissions and chemical exposure alone should be more than enough to remove this land from consideration entirely. A CDC study that I looked at shows that children living near high-traffic transit hubs have a 50% higher risk of childhood leukemia. And I asked the district to consider what is a acceptable number of risk that you guys are willing to accept. Because for me in my neighborhood, it's 0. If the state has strict laws restricting idling because bus exhaust is so hazardous to kids, we should not be considering putting it in a neighborhood where our children live. I ask each of you to consider this. If the land directly bordering your home in your own neighborhood was being considered for an industrial bus depot, how would you react? If you cannot honestly say that you would be comfortable raising your children or grandchildren next to a bus depot, then you should not be asking our neighborhood to do so either. Finally, if this neighborhood were your neighborhood, would you quietly wait to voice your concerns until it was in the final stages of decision making? Or would you begin to express your thoughts from the beginning, before formal planning had began, to ensure that your home was safe? I request that you formally and permanently remove the Anderson Boulevard land from your list, remove it from your list of possible options and look in other areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Next, we'll have Robert Diddy, Greg Otterstrom, and Summer Apsley, I believe.
Board members, neighbors, thank you all for being here. I'm grateful to be with you. It was a real treat for me to come in today and say the pledge with you all.
They're not going to hear you online.
Yeah.
Oh.
You might have to just pick it up.
Can you pick it up? Okay. Sorry. I was grateful to come in today and say the pledge with all of you. I didn't know we did that at board meetings, and that was a real treat for me because I love this nation and I love the inspirational thought we had at the beginning today. You gave that. Thank you so much. I've been to Gettysburg. I've been to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. I love this country. And the sacrifices of those brave soldiers allow us to be here today to talk civilly with each other and to talk about our concerns. I also love the follow-up thought about pioneers and how board members, you are the pioneers of this new school district. And we support you. And we are grateful for you and for your efforts. And we know that it is going to be a very difficult and trying time for you to figure all of this out. We don't envy you. But we do support you. As your constituents, we voted for you, and you have our support. That being said, that support lately has been a little bit tested because we found out about this bus depot going into our neighborhood. That was very concerning, and it felt like to us a breach of trust. And we were a little shocked to find out that that was even being considered by the school district board as a viable location for buses. My neighbors and my wife have done a wonderful job explaining the dangers of diesel exhaust, noise, lights, and other concerns that we have. My children are ages 6, 3, and 6 months. I don't want them playing so close to a bus depot, and I'll do anything in my power to make sure that this bus depot does not come to happen in our neighborhood. And I would like to add that it doesn't belong in any neighborhood, any residential area. It should be placed in an industrial area far away from any homes if possible. My final thought, I've been thinking a lot about community. This bus depot would be a community killer. This bus depot would force good families who don't want to live next to it to leave. And that would weaken the school district. That would weaken your student base. If we moved out of the city, we would likely leave the district as well. Kayla mentioned, and others will mention probably, our desire for an elementary school. We really believe that with housing and the number of units coming in the coming months and years, there will be demand for an elementary school. And we highly encourage you to hold on to this land. It's very valuable. It is an asset to you as school board members, and to hold on to this asset and to consider the possibility of a school there in the future. Communities are the lifeblood of a school district, especially a new school district. And if you want a strong school district, you need strong communities, and you need a strong constituency. You don't want parents and families who are worried about diesel fumes and the safety of their children. You want parents and families who help their kids with their homework and get them off to school the next day ready to learn. And thank you.
We can give him 10 seconds because we had the microphone problem.
Thank you. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. I really appreciate you listening to them. Please remove this from your list of considerations. I haven't heard what the other considerations are. Maybe you can add that to your response as well. That's another concern of ours. But anyway, please remove this from your considerations. It's not needed in our area. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg Otterstrom. I'm a Linden resident my whole life. I had Mr. Jensen back at Oak Canyon back in the day. And I just want to say thank you. Starting a new school district is no small task, and I know you've got your work cut out for you considering properties and schools and budgets and all of those big decisions. We have faith in you. We trust you. Please let us know how we can help support you as your constituents. With that being said, I live directly behind the bus depot proposed lot, and I'm telling you, our backyards are about 5 feet deep. It is ridiculously small. I have 4 children, very much not biased against buses. We had a bus birthday party this year for my 4-year-old. So I want you to know I'm not biased against buses, but I don't think this is the right spot for the bus depot. I can't imagine waking up with the little sleep we get having toddlers anyways. I can't imagine being kept up all night from the light and the noise pollution from the buses waking up, nor having my breakfast with, bus drivers' foul language, yelled across with all the silly jokes that they may have in the morning, or the diesel exhaust fumes coming through our window. It just sounds like a really, really, really bad idea. I also want to point out, along with the fantastic concerns and issues that people have with the bus depot, that property values, it's going to be really tough to sell our houses if it's got an industrial bus depot directly behind it. I think that this property would be really well suited for other uses for the district lands. I think a elementary school or an office, or even making a trade with another option like an LDS church or something where they may have land that's closer to a freeway or an industrial zone would be fantastic. I voice my concerns, and I think a lot of people have the same exact concerns that I do, but thank you for your time, and let us know how we can support you.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, Summer.
My name is Summer Apsley. I also live in the Anderson Farms. I've lived here in Linden for 5 years. My oldest is going to school for the first time in your district, and I'm really excited to send her there and for her to experience public school. I live on the street that touches the proposed site for the bus depot. Like people have said, our backyards are really, really small. And so it is literally in our backyard. The people that do touch it, it's less than 10 feet would be the bus depot. Looking at it, people have been saying it's in a residential area. 3 sides of the proposed site are physically touching yards. It's not just like, oh, it's kind of by houses. It's 3 sides of it are touching yards. And so I'm a little confused of why it is a consideration of a site. Lots of people have said a lot of the things that I was going to say. Like people have said about property values, we really struggled as a young family getting into the house that we got into. We had to scrimp and we had to save, and having a bus depot literally be 20 feet from our house would really put all of our hard work that we did for our kids and that we have put into the community and that we have put into our land and our house just like kind of be diminished, and that would be really hard for us. I also have a baby at home that with the early mornings and the late nights of high schoolers doing field trips and the buses getting ready for school in the morning would wake both of my kids up before they're ready to get up in the morning. I've also had a personal family member have childhood cancer. And so I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. Again, like people have said, I think the risk and our willingness to put children at risk is at 0. We don't want the fumes. We don't want that risk in our neighborhood. It's really hard on families. So my ask is that please take this lot off of consideration for the bus depot. Thank you.
Thank you, Summer. Okay, I'm going to announce the last 4, so I don't have to just announce one. Julian Brown, Lisa O'Neill, Ray Ferner, and then Amber Sweeney.
Hi, like Rob, I too need to pull this out because I'm so tall. So I'm not near as intelligent or well-spoken as my neighbors and my community, but dang, don't we have a good neighborhood. It is a privilege to live among these people and be able to share the same experiences and unfortunately go through some of the same hardships. But that's why we're here to talk about this. We're here to figure it out and find a solution that works for everybody. My kids have been in this district for years now, and we love it. And honestly, we look forward to staying here, and we look forward to continuing to support. I can't speak anything more than what they have already said. There are concerns. There are issues, obviously, on both sides. And I think that, like the inspirational quote that was given so beautifully, it's going to be hard. There's an easy choice. There's an easy choice, and it's easy to make the choice sometimes. And sometimes you forget about the ramifications that might come from it. It's easy to just see it on paper and say, yeah, this makes sense. And then you hear the voices of your community and friends who I play magic with every other week, or we go on walks with right around the neighborhood, or we have a neighborhood barbecue with and we plan for months in advance. Sometimes that information's forgotten, and you forget that this actually will impact a community. It's not just a bus depot going in. It's a community that has to change everything about how they function, about the things that happen in their neighborhood, the safety concerns, and the overall just impact to their life. I ask you to just consider that, and I know you have. That's a great thing, because we've got great people in this community, in this city, in this district, who care about each other. And so my request, just like everybody else's, please remove this from being an option. Hear us. Let us continue to support and help this community grow, thrive, and be the best place to live in Utah County. Thanks.
Thank you, Julian.
I'm Lisa O'Neill, and unlike some of the others, I have not lived here for 5 or 6 years, but our story is a little bit different. We moved into a home when Anderson Farms was brand new, and we didn't really know kind of what it would all look like. We moved away a couple of years later for a job in Texas. And while Texas has many great things about it, I don't know who here is like a diehard Texas fan. It was a fun place to live for a couple of years, but we moved back just over a year ago because of this neighborhood and because of the families that live here. Our kids were thriving, and they did not thrive in the neighborhood that we lived in Texas. And we looked at moving into similar areas, but we realized that there's just something special about this neighborhood. It's so involved and so active, like you see today. There are just clubs, and as a parent, there's great supports by other parents and other children, and even others who are retired. There's this amazing feel to the neighborhood that a bus depot would detract people from moving into. And I also am concerned about the safety risks. We don't live directly adjacent to the property, but I was counting the houses away from, we live adjacent to the park, and there are fewer than, depending on how you count the houses, there are fewer than 10 houses between where the bus depot would be in the Anderson Farms Park that people rave about, that they love. Like my in-laws from Nephi know all about this beautiful park, and they just wish that they had it by them. So it attracts a lot of people and would affect more than even just our neighborhood based on that park alone. One of the reasons we moved back here into this neighborhood was because of tech and screens. And I know that may not sound related to this conversation, but we wanted and we felt like our children needed a safe place where they could walk or bike to their neighbor's house. And having buses, a number of buses in the morning and the evening, just in the extra traffic, really, really concerns me for the children's safety in our neighborhood. So I just wanted to echo all of my fellow friends and neighbors' voices to ask that. I know it's in an earlier stage. Even at this earlier stage, I think there is completely sufficient reason to take it out of consideration this time.
Thank you.
Hello. My name, can you hear me? My name? Pick it up. Okay.
Ada's our sound check.
All right. Sound check. My name is Ray Ferner. And I, first of all, want to say thank you for your service. I know it takes a lot of dedication to be on the board. I also live in Anderson Farms. I cannot add much more than has already been said, so I will be brief. But I do want to say that I live about 100 feet from the proposed lot that would become a bus depot. I walk there in that area every day. I enjoy the neighborhood, the nice, quiet, friendly neighborhood. When you look on the map, you see houses, and then you see this beautiful rural property right now. To see that turned into a bus depot just doesn't seem quite right. And I think there are many other people who agree with me. There's an online petition. Last I checked, there were about 500 signatures on that. My request is that you get more input from that community before you proceed on that. So thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you, Ray. And our final one is Amber.
Hello, I'm Amber Sweeney. I also live in Anderson Farms, and I of course agree with all the other concerns, but I'll add a slightly different input. There's Anderson Boulevard that goes along this. I just lost my notes. But I don't know if you're aware, but on the north side of the field, between the houses and the field, is a walking path that is owned by the HOA. It doesn't allow vehicle traffic. It's about 4 feet wide. It's a beautiful little walking path behind the houses. It is about 2 inches from the fence. You can stand on the walking path and pet the cows that are currently there. My dog says hi to them. I wake up every morning at 6 a.m. and by 6:30 I am out there walking with my dog. I live about a block from where this will be, but I walk either that path or Anderson Boulevard that goes by that field every single morning. I see other people walking their dogs. I see people running, walking for exercise, biking, couples taking morning walks together. It's actually quite busy at 6 in the morning there. And this would be the time that all those buses would be idling and getting ready to go. There's also a school bus stop in the Anderson Farms parking lot. So the middle school students are also walking down that street to get to the bus stop at the same time. And then in the afternoon, you can see moms with strollers and little children going to Anderson Farms to the park. So the diesel fumes definitely concern me because I would be breathing them every morning or have to change my route. I watched both my parents die of cancer. It was horrible. And my mom, they were both fairly young. My mom had cancer at 52. I am genetically deposed to cancer. I think about it a lot. And so that and the traffic and other things really concern me. But I just want to make sure where there are houses that border this field and they're affected, but there's actually a whole community that is walking on 2 different sides of this field daily, and quite a few of them walking early morning when the buses would be running. So a walking path is inches away from this. Just be aware it's kind of hard to see that that exists on the map. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Okay, I'll now turn the time over to Sterling for a response. This is very rare. We don't do this very often. Haven't done it yet.
Well, first of all, thank you. We really do value your perspectives and your experiences. We're really grateful for that. And we...
Can you talk closer to them?
Well, is that better?
Pull it out. Pull out the...
There we go. How about that? I'm glad we like each other. All right, so anyway, we really do appreciate it. And we recognize how important this is to you. And that's heard and it's honored, and we just want you to be aware of that. We also want to thank you for your interest and your expectations, and for the respectful way in which you've provided your feedback. It's always easier to hear information when it's done in a respectful way, and so we really appreciate that. Not that we don't listen to people who are less respectful as well, we do, but it's just easier, and so we really do appreciate that. I'd like to just share a couple of things with you. First, everything that you have shared with us, all of your concerns, have been part of our conversations. And from the very beginning, when this option even became a possibility. So in that regard, really, we want you to know that your concerns are well represented in our conversations. It's not that we are unaware. We've been there and visited this space. We see where it is. We understand where it is. So I just want to, and there's not a but there. It's we hear and share those concerns. I think it's important to also just recognize that the Anderson Farm property and the bus transportation center is not an item on our agenda tonight. and it's not an item on our next agenda either. And the reason I point that out is simply to share that we are in the gathering stages of addressing this problem that we have, which is we need a transportation center for our new district. We have a transportation center that Alpine School District currently has, and we were hoping that we could enter into a shared relationship with Aspen Peaks and that would meet our needs. In our conversations over the past several months, it's become clear that that is really at best a short-term solution, and that it's not a long-term solution. And so it became apparent that we needed to look down the road and try to address this long-term solution of where can we put, or where should and could we have a bus transportation center. So in recognizing that, we've considered lots of different places. And when I say we, it's not even the board. I mean, it's the district leadership and the board leadership that it's just like, here's an issue. We're gathering information. What are some options? We've pursued lots of different options. I'm not saying that we've exhausted them. We haven't. We're still looking. Anderson's Farms is an option because we own the property. It's as plain and simple as that. We feel that it's our responsibility to consider all options. What would that look like? Is it possible for us to mitigate these very serious concerns in placing it there? We're in an information gathering phase. And so in that process, the reason it's not on our agenda is because we don't even know what our best options are. It is one of many. And in that process of gathering information, we approached the city of Linden, their planning commission. We talked to them. We decide, hey, it's good. There are individuals in this community that are on the planning commission. We should talk to them and get their feedback. And that's what we're doing. We actually now have feedback from the community as well. A little bit earlier in the process, it's not appropriate in our process, I'll be really clear, it's not appropriate in our process that our staff seek public input. That's not their job. That's our job, is to seek public input. And so it's the staff who is gathering the information for us to report back to the board. What are the options? What's the information that we've learned? Is this making sense? And so it's in that process of gathering the information that we're here today. And so this is where we are. We're gathering information. It's still, your concerns are our concerns. They really are. We hear that. And again, I'm not unilaterally in a position. No single one of us is unilaterally in a position to take anything off the table at this point. So we are actively seeking options for a transportation center. Is Anderson Farms at the top of our list? I was going to say hell no, but I won't say that. I will say no. It's not at the top of our list. But it also would be disingenuous to say that I don't have the power to take it off our list. It's one of the options, and we are considering all of our options. So I just want you to know that, to assure you that you are being heard, you're being considered, your perspectives are, we value it, we welcome it. Continue to share your thoughts and experiences with this. We're out to make the best district that this state has ever seen, and we're going to do it. So we'll find the right place for our transportation center. Thanks.
President Lyman?
Yes.
For the information of the board, would you mind asking those who are here about this issue to raise their hand, just because maybe not everyone got to speak.
Yes,
Would that be appropriate?
absolutely. Everybody that is here that didn't get a chance to speak, well, even all of you, you can raise your hand, would you please? Thank you. Can I invite you all to come back every time we have a meeting? I would love this amount of engagement. I can't even tell you the last couple meetings we have not had public comment for the last several meetings. So I encourage you, just as in this issue, there's going to be other issues that we're discussing. I invite you to continue to come, continue to reach out. I made Sterling do this because I responded personally to every email that came to our inbox, and took a lot of time. So I said, you get to do this, but we do. We want to hear from you. This, like he said, we aren't in the process. It's our job to hear from the public. It's not staff's job to solicit public comment. So it's not a lack of transparency. They're doing their job, gathering a bunch of information to present to us. I promise to you that this would not have just happened behind closed doors. Nothing is happening behind closed doors. Everything is happening in front of you. It's a little clunky at times. We make mistakes, but we appreciate so much, and I really want continued conversations. So please, you're welcome to come back anytime. And but I hope you feel that you have been heard.
Board President Lyman, can you
Yes.
explain also when it's appropriate for us to close the doors and why?
Close what doors? Are we cold?
No.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Because you used the word close the door. There
Oh,
is a
yeah.
time when we do that, and explain that if you would.
Yeah, so we do go into closed session occasionally to talk about, it's on our agenda if you want to look at the back, personnel, property, litigation, and collective bargaining. So we have had some closed door sessions, and that's when we were talking about the negotiations with the other districts. It wasn't appropriate in the middle of negotiations. Also, when we were doing hiring, it's not appropriate to talk about people's strengths and weaknesses in front of public. And then property, also when we're trying to purchase property, if word gets out that we are looking, I mean, it's out now, obviously, but people that are out to make a buck might take advantage of that. So sometimes it's in our best interest to protect the financial aspect of the district by having property discussions behind closed doors. And then litigation. We've already been sued once so far, so we did have a closed session to talk about that. But honestly, if you email me and say what happened in closed session, I will give you general ideas on what we talked about anytime. Yeah. So it's not a secret. I'm actually very chatty if you get me on the phone. I think I could talk to Kayla. I talked to Kayla for over an hour. I talked to Jenny Lawrence for an hour and a half on Monday. I don't mind talking. So
A closed session is closed session. We can't.
we can give general, can't we? Oh no, maybe I just got myself in trouble. Okay, moving on with our agenda. We have, as Karen sent us our board documents, we do have the minutes that we need to approve. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as they were sent to you.
I motion to approve the minutes as they were sent to us.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion about the minutes as they were presented? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay. We will now turn the time over to Dr. Jensen for our routine business.
All right, there's a couple of items of routine business tonight. First one's just every month is the expenditure report and claims. Jason, is there anything you would want to point out on that before there's any discussion?
So this report that we're receiving is for the end of June, so the end of the fiscal year. So this is as of June 30th, the expenses that hit Fund 12, which is our Fund 10 or general fund. And this isn't the close of all the books for the year because that takes a few, maybe 6 to 8 weeks for Alpine to be able to close everything out with accruals that come in, which would mean something that was earned by a company in June, they send the bill
it gets paid in July, it would still be on last year's expenditures. So there'll still be some expenses that hit if there's the P card statements, some of those things. And so, but right now, the nice thing is it's about $50,000 that we came under what our budget was in Alio, or in the reporting there. And so that'll add more to our carryover for next year. So our final budget for the expenditures for the year, which really started in December when the board started, was about $363,000, and year to date through June 30th was about $315,000.
Okay, thank you. I will entertain a motion for approving the expenditure report and claims as presented.
I motion that we approve the expenditure report and claims as written.
Presented.
Submitted.
I second it.
Presented.
Okay. Seeing how we have a motion and a second, all in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to ask if there was discussion first. Post vote, is there any discussion? Any questions for Jason?
Can I congratulate Jason on being under budget? That was really great.
Hey, that was us. Okay. Okay, I will talk about this one. So we have a need to, we're doing a renewal. We're trying to get on a regular schedule since we hired Dr. Jensen in the middle of February. I mean, it was just kind of a random date. We're trying to follow our fiscal year with our contracts. So we are putting forward a contract renewal for the superintendent that will start this July, and so he will go, it'll be a 2-year contract to go through June 30th of 2028. I will take a motion in a second, and then we will have a discussion.
I move that we approve the contract renewal for Superintendent Jensen.
Second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion about this?
We hired Joe, and he was a one-man show. And since then, we've expanded to 2, and then 3, and then I don't know how many more. And we continue adding so that when we start on July 1st of 2027, we're ready to go. He has shrunk about 3 inches. He used to be well taller than I am. Now he's my height, because there's a lot on his shoulders. And there's a lot of people helping him now, but he's done a great job and taking our direction and doing the work. So thank you, and I'm willing to do this this year and in 2 years again.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Superintendent, I like the way you already got a half year in before we signed the contract again. So anyway, but I know all the background there, but we're glad you stuck it out with us. Okay, so anyway, so it's all good.
We're glad he didn't run away, huh? Please don't do this. Okay. Any other discussion?
Just a vote of confidence here. Thank you so much. Good decision.
Okay. Okay. Then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Great. Now we get to move on to the fun. No. One more and then the fun.
All right, on the action items, the first one is Resolution 2026-012. This is just the authorizing the disposition of 1 ASD vehicle. This is similar to many of the other resolutions we've done this year already, where it's a surplus vehicle that is of really no operational value anymore to Alpine School District. And because of the nature of the split, all 4 districts have to approve this. And so that is, the information is in your board docs, but we need to just pass this resolution to surplus that 1 vehicle.
I move that we surplus.
I'll second that.
I didn't even get to call for a motion. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2026-012, authorizing the disposition of 1 ASD vehicle. Is there any discussion?
Yeah. I just want it said that any vehicle that has a persistent battery drain that requires the vehicle to be jump-started daily and the battery to be replaced annually should be retired.
Okay, I need to applaud Board Member Rex for reading that. I don't even think I did, to be honest. I just trusted that if they said it needed to go, it needed to go. So bravo. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Jim, do you want to state who made the motion and who did?
Yeah, so it was motioned by Vice President Hilton and seconded by Board Member Fugel. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, let's sell that.
I have a question real fast. These family, is there any way, are we going to talk about that property anymore, or are we done talking the property?
No, but we have some really fun stuff coming up. And they might want to talk to us afterward, David, so I'm not excusing
Okay.
them.
At least
They are always welcome to leave.
All right.
But we are talking about an exciting thing. We're talking
Okay.
about grade
All right, no,
configuration
Not
study.
inappropriate for you
fine.
to leave.
They are always free to go. We live in the United States of America. They're free to go.
Just trying to,
There's
I thought
there's
they
one
had
more
children at
valuable-
home.
There's one more valuable thing, and then maybe we should say, you don't have to stay for the 29 motions.
Yeah,
But
this is an
I-
interesting thing.
this-
So it's worth staying for the explanation from Joe. So we will move to, in our discussion items, I will turn the time back over to Superintendent. Oh, no, we
Yeah,
got to discuss.
resolution
Oh,
two,
sorry, there's
or
two
number
more
two.
things, guys. I will turn the, who am I you or Joe? Joe? Oh, we'll turn the time over to Superintendent Jensen to talk about the approval of our district vision and value statement, maybe give a recap of our study session.
All right. So one of the things I'm exceedingly grateful for with this Board of Education is that from day one they have been very values and vision driven, and they started a process clear back in December where they said, we are going to be values and vision driven. We're not just going to run a school district, and there's a big difference between those two things. And one of the things that attracted me to apply for this district, and I only applied for this district, was the fact that this board is values and vision driven. And they've gone through a process since December that included visiting every single school, and at every single school we met with leaders, teachers, students, which nothing against the other groups, but that was delightful, as well as parents. And we've been to 28 of the 29 schools. There was one school we couldn't get in before the school year ended, so we'll visit them in the fall. But we did that because the board had created a draft statement of their vision and values. And then the first two words in our vision are together we. And I would echo what Sterling said earlier, that thank you for being here. Thank you for being civil and respectful, because it really is together we. Our schools are going to be as good as our communities, and our schools will help our communities be better. And that's what I love about this item in particular. So they've gone through a process and multiple revisions, and today we're to a point where we're calling it a living document because we expect that it's not going to stay static for 10 years because it represents our current best thinking. I'll just read the vision statement, but you'll be able to see online soon kind of the whole thing. But the vision statement says, together we cultivate joyful, thriving students through high levels of genuine learning and belonging for each student in a culture of exceptional care, curiosity, and community. And then it goes on to describe a little bit what we mean by genuine learning. And then we have listed the values by which we genuinely will choose to operate. One of those is we value the perspectives and experiences of students, educators, parents, and community members, which is why when they say we value that you're here today and we're able to articulate to us what you articulate, we really genuinely value that, right? We also, one of those values is integrity and transparency. And if you've had any conversation with our board members, you'll find that there's no hidden agenda, right? Our agenda is to accomplish this vision. And so for that, that's a little longer than maybe a normal discussion or action item description, but I think this is important because this isn't just something that we can put on a district wall. This is really who we are and who we expect to be, and it's not written for us. I hope this is who we are because it's together we. And with that, I would turn the time back to Jen.
Okay, and we were going to approve this, but we didn't have enough time. You gave us homework.
I think we can.
It's a living document.
Right. I agree.
I vote we
Okay.
approve it and then add to it.
Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to approve our district vision and values statement as it has been discussed during our study session with the changes that we discussed, recognizing the fact that it is a living document and is subject to change and growth.
I move that we adopt it as we've discussed.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion from board.
I'd like to speak against that. I'm sorry. I just have it all marked up a lot, and I think I got take good notes about what we're deleting and what we're adding and but I want to see it with all my notes with what you came up, what you think the notes said, and then I can look at it and say, and in 2 weeks I could say, yes, that's what I think too, and I am ready to approve it knowing it's a living document. But I don't trust my note taking. I mean, look, I've got it all marked up. I mean, I owned this document, but I'm not sure that I am ready to say yes to it yet. That's me. We can vote on it. Don't get me wrong. There's been a motion and second.
I want to agree with David on this one. I know we don't agree often, but you know. Anyway, yeah, I think it would be nice to have a nice, clean document that we vote on.
Okay. I've been.
Oh, we can substitute.
What would be our substitute, Jason?
I move that we postpone the voting on this until next board meeting.
Okay,
in
there's
which
been
case
a
I'd be in favor of it.
substitution presented by Board Member Smith to move the vote to our next board meeting. And then do I get a first and a second for that?
You've
second.
already got a motion on the floor.
Oh, we've got to vote on that.
So we either got to vote on it or
Okay, then.
or make a substitute.
All in
motion.
favor of approving this?
Okay.
David just did a substitution. Okay, so David did a substitution. Now what do I do?
Discussion.
Can I get a second for the substitution?
I second.
Okay. I know. Okay, let's have a discussion on the substitution.
I'm great with substituting.
Okay.
I support the substitute also, and Karen will make it look awesome.
Pretty? Okay. Okay, great.
Canva.
Any other discussion? Okay, we are now voting on the substitution, which is to move the approval of the district vision and value statement to our next board meeting, which will be on July 29th. I have a first and a second for that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Sterling.
now I'll turn the time back over to Joe to explain our fun panel of the next part of our.
Okay, as you can see, there are a whole bunch of action items. What this refers to is we've been in April, we opened officially a massive boundary study. We call it the MOABs, the mother of all boundary studies. And as we've navigated this, we've decided there really are two major parts to this study. One is configuration, meaning do we move 9th grade to the high schools? And if we do that, do we move 6th grade to the middle schools? And which would obviously affect the elementary schools. And so we've separated that from any consideration about consolidations of schools. And so tonight, these resolutions, because it affects every single school in our district, to satisfy the law, we want, in the code, we're going to make motions around every school because this will affect every school if we do this. This is not deciding at this point that we're going to do it. We've been in a process now for several months where we've had cluster meetings where public was invited to come and give input. We've had boundary committee meetings, which include principals and some district folks and board members. We've also done some focus groups where very much more specifically, we've invited some folks to come and give us input on is their appetite to put the 9th grade into the high school and these other configurations. We're at a point now where we feel like with all of that input, it is appropriate for us to officially open the 90-day window to be able to get public comment, feedback, all of those things, and explore and continue to find out is this the best direction for our district in Timpanogos School District. So with that, I'll turn the time back to Jen because we have 29 different schools that we have to address that could be affected by these reconfigurations of grade levels.
Yeah, and I'm going to read what our legal counsel has prepared, just so I feel like I'm doing things officially. Okay, reconfiguring grades is not closing a school, changing the boundaries of a school. Oh, wait, I should start. The board, okay, yeah. Or changing or closing the location of a special enrollment program. And we are not considering taking any of those actions at this time. However, because we want to be transparent and ensure that your voices are heard, we are voluntarily initiating a robust notice and comment process to inform the public and consider parent feedback regarding the study and potential implementation of a grade reconfiguration. As part of that notice and comment process, we will consider individual motions for each school. I will now entertain a motion for the study of a grade 9 to 12 configuration at Mountain View High School. So then you read that, whoever is motioning.
I move that we.
Wait, we haven't ordered.
I was not aware of that.
It was supposed to get down to your way.
Okay, so you say it. I will entertain these motions.
I will entertain the motion.
No, you say I move.
Okay.
You just read it.
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 9 through 12 configuration at Mountain View High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
And I second that.
Okay, all in favor of, any discussion? All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I move that the board initiate the study of a 9-12 configuration at Orem High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration. I second that motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 9-12 configuration at Pleasant Grove High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 9-12 configuration at Timpanogos High School, Go T-Wolves, including any of the special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Guy, you're number 7.
Okay. I move that the board initiate a study of grades 7 through 8 and grades 6 through 8 configuration at the Canyon View Junior High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade configurations.
I second that motion.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
is me now. I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 7 to 8 and a grade 6 to 8 configuration at Lake Ridge Junior High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 7 to 8 and a grade 6 to 8 configuration at Oak Canyon Junior High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing as none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Michelle.
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 7 through 8 and a grade 6 through 8 configuration at Orem Junior High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade 7 through 8 and a grade 6 through 8 configuration at Pleasant Grove Junior High School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and directs district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Aspen Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move
Wait, go ahead, sorry.
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Bonneville Elementary, including any of the special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate a study of the K-5 configuration at Cascade Elementary School, including the Chinese DLI program and any other special enrollment program, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfigurations.
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Centennial Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K through 5 configuration at Central Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfigurations.
I second it.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Cherry Hill Elementary School, including its Spanish DLI program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Oh, just kidding. No, I'm just joking.
You're just keeping me on my toes. Thanks, David. Okay, seeing as how there's none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Foothill Elementary School, including its ALL program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second. Any discussion? Seeing as there's none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Grovecrest Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Linden Elementary, including its ALL program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate a study of grade K-5 configuration at the Manila Elementary School, including any special enrollment program, direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfigurations.
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Mount Mahogany Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Northridge Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Orchard Elementary School, including its Spanish DLI program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Orem Elementary School, including its ALL program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Parkside Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Rocky Mountain Elementary School, including its Portuguese DLI program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move that the board initiate a study of grade K-5 configuration at Trailside Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Any opposed? Great. I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Vineyard Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Just two more.
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Westmore Elementary School, including any of its special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
And the final.
I move that the board initiate the study of a grade K-5 configuration at Windsor Elementary School, including its Spanish DLI program and any other special enrollment programs, and direct district employees to notify the public of the study and potential grade reconfiguration.
I second that.
Any discussion?
I have something to say. We will send a survey out to all. We're going to send a postcard, and we're going to have a survey that goes out to the public. We will have a survey that goes out to the public about this too.
Yeah. We are just opening that time frame up for lots of public comment. So please contact us. We will have a survey option that will be really easy. A postcard also, a legal requirement is that we send out a postcard. So look for that in your mailboxes. You guys have a leg up. When your neighbors ask, why is this postcard coming? You'll say, hey, I was there. They motioned to study this. This isn't a decision. This is just opening that 90-day window to allow our public plenty of time to comment to the board.
Can I add to that a little?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have a postcard, but we'll also have an email go out with the same information. And then we'll send notification to the cities, to the mayors and city council. And on the postcard, it will give the date and time of a hearing for each of the, we don't think we need one for all 29, that we can do one for 912, one for 6, 8, 7, 8, and one for K5. And they may be the same day. We're figuring that out, but it'll be either late August or early September board meeting to be able to have that. And then, so it provides opportunity at a hearing, but also any other community comment times in board meetings.
Are we planning to have an open house type of information thing for the public?
We can. It's not required, but we could choose to do that.
Maybe that's something we can gauge from public as we're out about for feedback if they would like to have that, and we're open to that.
Hiram, anything
Hiram,
missed
did we
on
do
that?
okay?
We just need to.
Okay, we have to vote on this.
Yeah.
This was the discussion. So we had a motion for, what's the last school? Was it Windsor?
Windsor.
Windsor, and a second, and we had a discussion. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Yay.
And do you need to declare motions passed?
All motions passed
Unanimously.
unanimously. Okay. Yeah, now we're on to our last business is our superintendent and board member reports. Okay, we'll start with Superintendent Jensen, and then, do you have anything you'd like to share? Okay, we'll go to him, and then we'll just go down the line.
I just wanted to give a brief report on, we're in the process of, it's been a very unsettled about 18 months for most Alpine School District employees, especially those at the district level who didn't know which district they're going to end up in. Schools were a little bit less that way because if you were in a school, the communication was you have a position in your school. And so in a district of 90,000 students, there's literally hundreds of employees in technology and nutrition and transportation and physical facilities and secretaries and all of these types of positions. And so I just wanted to, describe a brief experience I had about 2 weeks ago, and then talk about where we are in that process. I went down to Tuacahn and watched Les Miserables with my wife for her birthday about a month ago. And when I opened the playbill, I was drawn to kind of this 2-page thing that showed all of the people that helped create this production. And none of them were actors and none of them were audience, right? And I was amazed at the number of people, and I counted them up, and there were 241 people that it takes to run everything at Tuacahn, everything from their CEO to the, lighting and costuming and all the things. And I just was struck that, boy, nobody does this alone in a school district. And I'm so grateful for the people we've been able to hire that will be doing the work, creating the conditions for each child to truly joyfully thrive in our schools. And as far as an update on that, I think we're completely done with the contracted bus drivers. We're still in process with physical facilities. We've started the technology. We've done the TSAs at the district office. We're getting close to people can be settled a little more than they've been for the last 18 months. And I'm grateful for that. And so hats off to Alpine School District's HR department and all the people who have really had to create a significant amount of work to make this transition. But we're getting close to really having our Timpanogos School District team that'll put on great productions.
I'd like to defer to David so he can go first.
Do we want to go the other way? Okay.
Do we need to motion that and
No, this is
second?
at my discretion, so we're going to start here and come this direction,
Okay.
and Michelle can have the final word.
That's great. I'm just going to spin off of Joe's comments. One of the things that's been most worrisome for me, or thing that I've asked a lot about, is where are we with that? I have, as you know, I have a special needs child that gets picked up by a bus driver every morning during the school year. And she's been worried. She's talked to me every time, like I don't work on Thursdays and Fridays most of the time. And so every time I push him onto the bus on Thursdays and Fridays, she's asked, what's going to happen? Where are you at? Am I going to be able to be his bus driver next year? And we've had that conversation. She's texted my wife about that. My wife has asked me about that. This is something that's on my mind, not only for bus drivers, but for everybody. I know a lot of these employees, and I know it's nice to know you have a job. It's also nice to know where that job is. And until that happens, you're not settled. And for those who don't know if they have a job or not, to know that, oh, I do have a job, that's a family and that's a mortgage, and I really appreciate your work on that, and Alpine's, and then also Vicki Carter's and Joel Perkins, the other superintendents. Thank you for doing that. Please continue letting us know where we are in that, so when we're done, we know, exhale, we don't have to worry about that anymore, or I don't have to. That's a worry of mine often, always. So thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to say that this was a really fun experience today, doing the grade configuration study and notice, because I remember a year ago this time, I was knocking doors, campaigning to run for school board and telling people, yeah, we're going to have to do a boundary study of everything, and here it is coming true. And I want to thank this board because we started right off in December visiting every single school and every single property and seeing the pros and cons of everything. And so as we went through and did this, I was thinking of each school, and I know what they look like, and I know who is there, what their strengths, what their struggles are. And just, I want you to know that we really, really care about these kids. We want the best for them, and we really want this to be a great district, and we're hoping we get as much feedback as possible. So if you have any concerns or thoughts, we'd love to hear them so that we can make the best decisions.
I've talked a lot, and so I would just simply say I really do appreciate the values that we've adopted. I think they inform our processes. They aren't just words, but I think they actually represent what we believe, and I'm grateful for that. I really am grateful that as many people showed up tonight as they did, because I'm glad people care about education like I care about education. It matters. It matters what we do. And it might not matter across the world, but it matters for us in our communities. And so I appreciate that. I'm never afraid to hear people's concerns and passions and interests. So thank you.
And I just want to reiterate some things that I think I can't remember if I mentioned them here, but I think I mentioned them in study session, that this process, so we started as a board of 7 doing everything. We didn't have any staff. We were really excited when we hired Joe, but I was more excited when we got Karen, because I was doing a lot of the I was making copies, I was making sure everybody was informed of everything, and so to have this support. What was interesting is when we went on, my husband and I went on a cruise in early June, and I've been involved. I mean, I'm just aware of everything that's been going on. When you're a board president, you have a few more meetings than if just a regular board member, and so we went on this cruise, and I totally was off grid, wasn't much communication at all, and we had things that needed to get done, and I left, and they got done. And I came back, and there were things done. Now, it was very disconcerting. Like, I came back, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't know how this got done, because I wasn't in the meeting. People were doing things, and I just realized, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how it's going to be. We have hired some fabulous people that are putting in the work and doing the things that we need to do to get this district started. And I need to let them do their stuff and bring their expertise, years, decades of wonderful education that we have to draw upon and experience in schools, that they can speak to what's happening, you know, in our schools. And I'm so grateful for that. And we will, I'm still working on that, giving up that control. It is a hard thing to be able to just say, yeah, okay. But it is also a real relief. And I'm grateful for the trust that I feel in these individuals who we have hired, and that is continuing, and we are at that settled position where we know it is of note fiscally that their salaries, even though it's kind of like a draft, we've been drafting in this group, so we're kind of drafting the people for our area, but their salaries will continue to be paid by ASD until July 1, when we will take over the fiscal responsibility as well as the education responsibility. So it's really exciting, and I'm very grateful.
I just wanted to say thank you once again to all these people that have showed up in our meeting today, those of you that spoke as well as those that didn't. My husband and I recently had the opportunity to attend the musical 1776, and just reminded me of what a messy experience it was to get the Declaration of Independence and to get consensus. There really wasn't consensus. There was compromise. To get that document written and signed was a miracle. And so as we deliberate about our vision, values, and goals, it's a wonderful wrestle. And I really enjoy working with this board as we create not a country, but a little school district. But I just really appreciate the involvement, the chance that we have to all be here in this room. Thank you.
Over 25 years ago, I was part of a board of Alpine School District that really saw a need that we needed to build a new bus facility. And it was overwhelming because we had so many building needs of schools at that time and just didn't have the money. But we finally found the money and built our bus garage where it is now, and figured that would serve us for the rest of our future or whatever. It was great. We got our buses off the streets. We didn't have room to park them all. The bus drivers took them home every night and had them in your neighborhoods, if you remember that. Some of you younger kids don't remember that, but it was a mess. But anyway, and then I was also part of the board when we bought property out in Saratoga Springs for the bus facility out there. And now I would ask you to, if it's out by the new high school out there, and go visit that site, and you can see the potential of what a newer bus facility looks like, that's more in a not residential but non-commercial zone. So I just offer that up. But I am on the physical facilities committee, and we're looking at all the options we have, and going to study this more and figure out where the best facility is for our bus facility. And the reason, really, we thought all along that Aspen Peaks would be more than happy because they have the capacity, but they have a different aspect. So we got thrown off the bus and then run over. and
Not completely, come on.
and says, you know, you guys aren't welcome here after the next couple of years. So that was the easiest thing for us to do and the most economical. So, but we tried.
I've been serving on the elementary boundary study committee, and I just appreciate the input from our professionals here and also the administrators that are taking extra time to help us on that committee, and the focus groups that we've been able to have too. And I would say that, you know, we went into this boundary study with somewhat of a timeline, and as we've talked and you know, realized the elementary aspect of this boundary study is more in-depth and complex than the secondary. And I feel like the secondary is a little bit farther down the road in some of their thoughts and feelings of how things should go. But as an elementary committee, I appreciate the time that the board and the professionals are giving us to do more research and get more feedback and focus groups on the complexity of our elementary schools and their special programs. So I just wanted to say that, and I think this might fit in the PLC model, loose, tight, that, you know, we have a tight window frame here, but I appreciate that we're letting this elementary study be a little loose in our timing as to how far we move, how fast.
Thank you. Okay, seeing we have no need to adjourn or roll call for a closed session. So seeing as how we have met all our agenda items, this meeting's, huh? Okay, can I
move that we adjourn.
Thank you.
I second.
Great. Okay, all in favor of adjourning this meeting, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thanks. We'll stand adjourned.